Exclusive on medical marijuana, a booming business that's just getting started here in Massachusetts. Team 5's Kathy Curran is exposing tonight questionable practices at one local company where you may qualify for perfectly legal pot.
With $200 in hand, Team 5's undercover cameras roll as a potential patient heads into Canacare Doc's South Boston office, where the doctor's orders include medical marijuana. 20 minutes later, she walks out with a recommendation for therapeutic weed in hand.
So you can grow your own marijuana, you can carry a 60-day supply.
I thought it was pretty easy, shockingly so, to think you can just walk in and within 20 minutes I was able to walk out with a certificate saying I'm good to go.
Team 5 Investigates uncovered some questionable practices here. The office staff filled out the patient's name on the marijuana recommendation before she even saw the doctor. She walked in off the street with no prior history with the doctor, told him about a physical injury, but that injury was never even examined.
Obligatory exam, checking eyes, ears, nose, throat.
They didn't ask for any medical records, any x-rays, and they didn't ask for any MRIs.
None of the above.
Dr. Madeline Biondolillo from the Department of Public Health says in general, regulations require a bona fide doctor-patient relationship and proper evaluation.
If a patient does go in with some sort of physical injury, the doctor at the very least should check that injury out.
Assessing the injury. So the other consideration is that medical marijuana as a treatment is intended for, by regulation, a debilitating condition.
He just kind of went on what I was telling him.
Dr. H. Scott Breen, who has a background in emergency medicine and works at the Southie and Worcester locations, was the doctor on duty at the clinic that day. According to records obtained by Team 5 Investigates, Breen has settled 9 malpractice claims since 1987 and was disciplined by the Board of Registration in Medicine for slapping a child. State records show Dr. Roseanne Burwald at the company's Seekonk location settled 4 malpractice claims while working in obstetrics and gynecology in an 11-year span. A spokesperson for Canacare Docs tells us all of their current doctors are fully licensed and in good standing, and their credentials meet all of the requirements for medical marijuana evaluations. But Team 5 discovered that wasn't always the case.
James Boland, MD.
Dr. James Boland from Colorado, featured in this CNBC documentary, was one of the high-volume medical marijuana doctors referred to the Colorado Medical Board for investigation. Team 5 has learned up until the regulations went into effect, Boland was writing recommendations for Canacare Doc's patients, even though he wasn't licensed to practice in Massachusetts. He was fined for practicing without a license in Colorado last year. Our patient supports medical marijuana, but has second thoughts based on what happened here.
Based on this one experience, this system is getting a little bit abused.
And that patient was surprised the company had her sign a form stating she's not media or law enforcement and not carrying audio or video equipment. Canacare Doc's spokesperson told us they fully comply with state regulations, and they're changing their policy about filling out the marijuana recommendation before patients see the doctor. For Team 5 Investigates, I'm Kathy Curran.
Now.